Okay, welcome to today's webinar. My name is Dr. Karrie Hohn, and I am here at Palm Health. We're going to talk about balanced living today. So let me grab some slides for us. All right, balanced nutrition is the topic of the webinar today. So we can achieve our best health through balanced living. When we are managing our stress, we're getting adequate exercise, we're eating a healthy diet, we are much more likely to maintain a healthy weight. Today, we'll talk about best practices in stress reduction, in movement, in nutrition, and we'll discuss common obstacles in our everyday lives. I will suggest some tips for maintaining balanced living on the go. So what are those obstacles? I see those every day when I plan out my week schedule, like how are we going to get dinner, what's going to happen, where are we going to be, to who's traveling that week. And travel seems to be a big one for my patients. It comes up almost every day with patients, whether it's a fun vacation, whether it's a weekend away, or they're traveling for work. Travel makes it difficult to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It's easy to get poor sleep, to limit our exercise, and to have less than ideal food when we're not at home. Then there's our busy work schedules. The busier our schedules become, the less time we have to sleep, to meal prep, to grocery shop. It's easy to even skip meals when we are so busy. Next is our busy family schedules that can be very complicated. Whether we're taking care of an elderly parent or driving kids or grandkids to and from events, family responsibilities make it difficult for us to find time for basic self-care. And then there's entertaining. And I don't think many of us consider ourselves entertainers. But things come up in our work schedule, social calendars, and in our personal social calendars. There's barbecues, birthday parties, weddings. Sometimes we're entertaining clients at lunch or dinners or happy hours. And these things can be a lot of fun, but they can also add stress to our lives. We may skip exercise to attend these events. And at these events, we might not eat the best food, and we may be tempted to drink more alcohol than we ordinarily would. So as you can see, there are lots of obstacles that stand in the way of our balanced living, to balance our stress, our exercise, and our nutrition. So what about stress? Stress is key to maintaining our health, and stress reduction, I should say, is key to maintaining our health and a healthy weight. Stress actually changes our body's chemistry. We are different inside, and that stress changes the chemistries and throws off our metabolism. It can lead to elevated blood sugars, increased fat storage, and ultimately weight gain and medical illness. So stress is one of the key things we look at in terms of helping our patients balance their lives and to help them attain their best health and their ideal body weights. So how do we reduce stress? We can limit our exposure to unhealthy stress by setting guidelines and boundaries. When possible, say no to unnecessary events. We can try to get good quality sleep. Studies show that we eat more and exercise less when we haven't slept well. So make sure to prioritize your sleep, because the next day you'll have an effect of your sleep in terms of the choices that you make. And then there's prayer, meditation, and yoga. When done on a regular basis, these have been shown to decrease our stress and actually lower blood pressure. Studies prove it. Then there's social connection. Lack of social connection is associated with poor health. So make an effort to truly connect with those who are dear with you. Counseling and coaching. Sometimes we need to talk to a professional about what we are going through. Other times we need someone to help us realize our goals and kind of help hold us accountable. And so counseling and coaching are really wonderful in terms of helping us reduce our stress. And then don't forget the vitality services. Some of these we have here at Palm, the cryo, the biomet, the sauna, the PEMF, and the salt room. These can all help us achieve a state of calm. And the more calm we are, the healthier we are. So what about when you're on the go? What about when you're traveling? What about when life is busy, when there are practices and games and meetings and happy hours? How do we decrease our stress and reduce? First of all, we say no. And just remember that anytime you have said no to one thing, you've said yes to other things that will fill that time. So be careful and critically decide what it is you're going to keep in your life and what you're not. Sleep, you want to make sure that you're getting good, adequate sleep. So, whether you're at home or whether you're in a hotel, think about using room darkening curtains. Adjust that thermostat to make sure that it's 68 degrees or less. And you might want to even use a noise machine or a fan. And some people actually have small models of these and they take them with them on their trips so that they can assure their best sleep. Another thing that we can do on the go with prayer and meditation is to sneak these in. So when you're waiting at the airport, you have your bags by your side, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just do some square breathing. Take a count of 4 in, hold your breath for 4, let it out for 4, hold it for 4, continue that square breathing and calm your mind. Or insert meditation there or prayer along with your deep breathing. But you can sneak these in waiting in the doctor's office, waiting in the car at the school pickup, waiting for your oil change, whatever it is. Sometimes I've even done it in the dentist chair where I'm just kind of hanging out. I can't say anything. So I'm doing a little bit of deep breathing and a little bit of stress reduction. Also think about the vitality services like the cryo, biomat, sauna, salt room, PEMF, or massage. Try to put these in your schedule on a weekly basis whenever possible. Just block out a time where you're going to take care of yourself. Some of my most successful patients, business owners, for instance, have these times marked into their schedule. And I've tried to block out an hour during my week to take time out. And you can even do this when you're on vacation, when you're at, on vacation, there may be a spa, or even when you're on a work trip, you may find time to sneak away to do some type of an activity like that. Social connection is very important. We become sad and despondent when we're not connected. So, if you're not with those you love, take time to have an important text or call, and try to stay in the moment with the people who you are with to truly connect, because that's where we humans truly thrive, when we're not necessarily connected to just electronics like our phone or our laptops. And then counseling and coaching, don't forget that those can be on the go as well. You can do those in person. You can also do video and telephone visits these days, and insurance is tending to cover those. So that makes it easy to do those on the fly, to do those when the weather's bad and maybe even when you're out of town. What about exercise? Here are the recommendations. These come from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and they did a huge study that was done about 11 years ago and then repeated about a year ago. And what they found was individuals who exercise, who get 150 minutes of aerobic exercise, at least 10 minutes at a time, when they do that, during the week, get that 150 minutes, and they know it's aerobic because they're panting and they're breathing hard. When they're able to do that by jogging, brisk walking, biking, swimming, they lower their risk of stroke, heart attack, diabetes, and cancer, and are much more likely to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight. If you do that and do some sort of weightlifting or strength training twice a week, the benefits are even greater. So those are very important things to do. Lots and lots of data behind those in terms of the benefits of exercise. In addition, I always say, and in their guidelines as well, they mention that you should also consider yoga or stretching exercises to help us maintain our balance as we get older. It's so important that we have good balance, good, strong muscles, and also our flexibility. When we spend our time sitting at a desk or working on a counter, whatever it is we do, we use certain muscles a lot, and it's good to have that stretching and yoga type activity to free our muscles. But what about when you're on the go? How do you fit exercise in? We actually were just in Chicago not that long ago, and we realized how expensive it was to take an Uber with our 5 kids. It was 2 Ubers actually. And so we did a lot of walking to events, and we walked up to 30 minutes to get to dinner. And it was actually really fun to be together and do a little bit of sightseeing and have a brisk walk. So you can, going out to dinner, going to meetings, going to other events, just wear your walking shoes. And if necessary, pack your event shoes. Don't forget, my husband, he travels a lot. You can take your shoes with you. So he has a co-counsel. He's an attorney. He meets with them, actually meets up with them and in certain cities, wherever they are meeting for clients, and they'll do walks. They both bring their tennis shoes. So, don't forget to put that into your activity, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. Plan outdoor activities such as hiking, biking, or swimming when it's time to put something in your recreation. Do that outside and be active with others. I've had patients recently tell me about walking meetings, which I think is a great idea. Throw on the headset, throw on your earbuds, and do that meeting while you're walking, either outdoors or on a treadmill. Also, it doesn't have to be a work meeting. It can be, instead of going to have coffee with your friend, meet your friend and take a walk and have those same conversations as you're walking about. So some great ideas to socialize and to be physically active. When possible, take the stairs, park at the back of the parking lot. And when you're thinking about exercise, think about what works for you. Several months ago, I met with one of our trainers here at Palm, Maggie, and she was giving me an exercise regimen that I could do. And I told her that I probably wouldn't be exercising at the gym. It's lovely, but it's just not my kind of thing. And so she created an exercise program for me that I could do at my park. And that's a portable exercise regimen. So I can take that with me everywhere. Anywhere there are stairs and park benches and sidewalks, I can do my workout. And so things like, you can always do that here at Palm, meet with someone, have them teach you what to do and how to do it and what you can do wherever, whether you're at a hotel and you've got, a treadmill, or whether you've got equipment, or whether you're on vacation, et cetera. Lots of ideas for exercises to take with. Things that are easy to do, push-ups, squats, planks, sit-ups, you can do those anywhere. All right, what about nutrition? So this is kind of the ideal nutrition, that we would consume the widest possible range of whole, non-processed foods, meaning it doesn't come in a box, it doesn't come out of a drive-through window, including meats, veggies, fruits, grains, beans. We would prioritize fresh or frozen food over canned or packaged food. And in this, we would encourage everybody to have, during their day, 3 meals. And I always use this image of a plate, where you think about a plate in front of you. I think I'm going back to the Michelle Obama days when she was working on nutrition, but I think about that plate, but I kind of rearrange things. I say, think about your plate and first put on it a protein, about 20 grams of protein. So meat, fish, or chicken, the size of a deck of cards, 3 eggs, 3 tablespoons of nut butter, a cup and a half of beans, 3 ounces of cheese, 20 grams of protein powder, tofu, 3 ounces. There are a lot of things that you could put, but pick 3 plates a day, and on each plate, put a protein, 20 grams. Next to it, put 3 servings of vegetables. And a serving is about what fits in your hand. It's the same, that big spoon that you have in the kitchen that you're using to serve. Try to fill half of your plate, or 3 servings on every plate, and then try to have a small fat on every plate. In addition to that, throughout the day, try to have a couple of fruits per day, but don't, now that we're getting into spring and summer, we don't need 8 or 10 of those, probably 2 fruits a day, and fruits that fit in your hand. That's the serving size. And then also grains, add a little bit of grain to your diet, whole grains, whole, steel cut oats, or brown rice, something like that, quinoa. A serving, again, is about what fits here in your hand, what fits in that serving spoon in the kitchen, and you just want about 2 of those per day, or a small slice of bread. So keep those servings low. In general, avoid sugar, avoid artificial sweeteners, avoid the processed foods, and drink 64 ounces of water per day. And that's a pretty solid nutrition plan. When you think about snack time, So we talked about those 3 plates that we have. I like to shrink the plate for snack time and include the same things on the plate. So I recommend that you have a protein on your plate, that you have a fat, and that you have some veggies. So you could incorporate hummus and carrots, or celery and almond butter, something like that, or some nuts and some apple, but something to give you some fiber, some protein, some fat, because those kind of snacks sustain you over time, as opposed to a little 100-calorie bag of chips. I don't know about you, but I'm never satisfied when I finish that. And I'm always hungry like 15 or 20 minutes later. So eating a more substantial snack will allow you to spend less time returning to your snack shack. All right. So that's ideal nutrition. This is what we find in the real world: popcorn and pretzels and candies. We find, all kinds of craziness. So we have to pick and choose and be super careful about what we're going to eat. So on the go, these are the things that I recommend. I recommend first that you think about your 3 meals that you're going to have. And I say the basic plate: half of the plate covered with veggies, always a protein, always a fat. I recommend that you eat those 3 meals, and then after your final meal, you don't eat again for 12 hours. You just take a break for at least 12 hours. You can drink water, but try not to put anything in that has calories. So that would include alcohol or coffee with creamer. Just take 12 hours off. Again, limit your fruits to 2 a day, limit your grains to 2 a day. Bringing your own lunch is a really, really good idea. So I bring my own lunch. I always, when I'm cleaning up dinner at home, I usually save some and put it away for lunch. And, I just pack up all the leftovers as lunches, and then we can use those over the ensuing days. So I usually eat leftovers for lunch. When you're on, you're traveling on for work, you can always order a double meal or order 2 meals and take one home for the next day. Those are some options, but usually you can do better when you take your lunch, as opposed to purchasing lunch, at the vending machine sometimes. I think we may have all been guilty of grabbing something because we didn't have anything to eat, or the concession stand when we're at kids' games or something like that. So having your own lunch is a great idea. And I'm guilty of walking out to the car to have lunch at kids' baseball games, but I think it's a much better meal than I would get if I sat at the ballpark and ate. You can also make a smoothie. And I have a smoothie almost every weekday. And many times we'll make it ahead of time. I make it in a thermos container that has a lid, so it stays cool, and you can shake it. And then I bring it to work with me. I bring it out on a hike with me. Wherever I am headed, when I'm ready for breakfast, I eat my smoothie. And that turns out really nicely. My husband and I always make a double in our blender. He has one, I have one. Or if he's out of town, I make a double and save the other one for the next day. So really nice and easy. One big tip: avoid drinking your calories. There are lots of things that you can drink. Safe is always water, tea, and coffee. Try not to put a bunch of junk in those. If you're tempted to drink something fancy because it's just not cutting it for you, maybe do a club soda with citrus. That's a great way to get something a little bit tasty or exciting, but you're not going to be drinking a lot of calories. And I know people would disagree with this next one, but I think eating protein bars is a mistake. I see it as when you're in an absolute food desert and there are no other choices, grab for that protein bar. When you're eating a protein bar, you're typically not getting adequate fats. You're certainly not getting veggies, and you're probably not getting 20 grams of protein. So really think about that plate and realize that a protein bar isn't a plate. It's just emergency food and shouldn't be kind of a daily thing. Another tip: when you're out and about, when you're either going out with friends to eat, or if you're, traveling for work, look at the menu ahead of time before you arrive at the restaurant. So you have an idea: where can I get a protein, half a plate of veggies, and a fat? And how can I do that in the healthiest way? And I think that makes things go a lot more smoothly for me. Let's see. So here's my smoothie recipe. Some of you may have this if you know me, but really it's whatever I would have on my plate. I just kind of dump it into the blender. So I usually do for my protein, I do 3 tablespoons of almond butter as my protein, which is my protein and my fat. I also can sometimes, on occasion, I'll do a protein powder that has about 20 grams. I usually don't do that. I prefer the almond butter because I know exactly what's in it, almonds and salt. The next thing I include are 3 veggies, and you can include any 3 veggies that you want. I usually go for a green, so usually kale, or any other greens. Then I'll do typically a carrot, but you could substitute jicama or beet or essentially whatever you have in your fridge. The other veggie I like is the celery. Sometimes I'll use a cucumber. So it's a protein, like we talked about, 20 grams, and it's 3 veggies. I like to give a little bit of fruit here to give a flavor so that it's tasty. And so I use frozen cherries or berries. Sometimes I'll do a small apple. Sometimes I'll do half a banana. And then I add flavoring every time I have a smoothie. So if I'm doing cherries, I do cocoa powder and almond extract for my flavor. If I'm doing blueberries, I do lemon juice. And if I'm doing apple, I'll do cinnamon. So those are some of my suggestions for how to make a smoothie tasty, how to get a full meal in a cup. And then I do add a cup of water to make it liquid. All right. Here's another liquid. So my trick when I go out is that I have 1 cocktail, maybe once or twice a week. And then after that cocktail, I always fill it with club. So I usually have a lime and I fill it with club. If I'm at home, I like ranch water. I am a margarita fan, but I always feel like some kind of truck ran over me when I have a margarita. Never feel good. It always makes me tired. I always feel fatigued and horrible the next day. So this is my skinny margarita. It's called ranch water. And for this guy, I line the rim of the glass with lime juice. And then I dip it in tahine, which is a pepper spice. It's not too spicy because I don't like really spicy, but it's really tasty. And then for the liquid part of it, I use a half a shot of fresh squeezed lime juice, 12 ounces of chilled club soda, and 1 shot of tequila. And then I garnish it with a lime wedge. And it is super tasty, super refreshing. And if you got to have alcohol, that's the way to go, I think, because it's low calorie and it doesn't have a lot of impact in terms of sugar. So in general, though, try to avoid your alcohol. 0 to 1 per day is the recommendation. But if you have to have something, here you go. All righty. So that is the end of my presentation. We talked about balanced living. We talked about how to achieve our best health, how to maintain our weight, how to lose weight. And the keys for that are stress reduction, movement, and nutrition. You put all those together and our bodies typically tend to thrive. So now we're going to switch from this talk and we're going to reach over and hear what Dr. Sita Kedia has to say about balanced living. It's a new program we have here at Palm. It's a 12-week program that gives just a deeper dive for those who need help balancing, who want to dig in and do more, maintaining their weight, losing weight. So give me just a second, I'll pull this up for us.
Hi everyone, I'm Sita Kedia from Palm Health. Thank you for joining us. We are here to introduce the Balanced Living Program, why it was developed, what is our philosophy for weight management, and how our program is designed and what it entails. Our program is offered at Palm Health. We created Palm so that individuals can have access to health and wellness under one roof. At Palm, we have providers from an array of health and wellness specialties, including medical doctors that specialize in functional medicine, mental health providers, and providers in wellness, fitness, and nutrition. Our team of providers are able to collaborate and work together to coordinate patient care that leads to greater health outcomes. Our ultimate goal is to help people transform their health, become more resilient, and increase their vitality. We brought together a team of experts at Palm Health in medicine, mental health, nutrition, and fitness to create a long-term approach to weight management. For our team, as we evaluated our own programs and success, the research around other weight loss programs, we recognize that the most programs that produce quick results don't have sustainability long-term. And it was the sustainability of lifestyle changes long-term that was really challenging. So we ultimately put together our balanced living program, which was our answer to a sustainable approach to weight management. Ideally, individuals are ready to shed kind of old habits and embrace new ones. They want to lose a mild or moderate amount of weight. And most importantly, they want to gain that momentum for healthier behaviors so that they can sustain that weight loss long term. As we developed our program and were determining the components that we wanted to put in our program, it was our hope that we could create a program that would really foster a positive relationship with food, all the while losing weight. So in our program, our medical team helps you develop a personalized plan that is really individualized for you and customized based upon your needs. There are no two individuals alike. They have different circumstances. For instance, you may be a single father of two, or you may be a mother and wife who travels a lot for work. It was essential that we also had a program that combined nutrition, movement, and stress reduction. What I describe this as is that they're like three gears in a clock that work together to create balance as well as a motor for healthy living moving forward. So starting with nutrition, we chose a heart-healthy Mediterranean diet that can be tailored to anyone's needs. Whether you're gluten-free, vegetarian, or enjoy eating out. We wanted to provide recipes for easy meal prep through the week, which includes real food, fresh produce, healthy fats, lean proteins, and whole grains. We also have a cafe on site in case you want to grab some meals to go that are also part of your meal plan. For us, it was not just about exercise. How do we incorporate movement? How do we move well and improve flexibility and to decrease the risk of injury as we begin to move more? Our goals were to increase muscle mass, have both strength and cardiovascular conditioning, and ultimately change our metabolism. We know that it is not only important to lose weight, but also increase that muscle mass. That's the key for changing our metabolism. So the last component is really incorporating stress reduction. Our team has seen time and time again that individuals may lose weight initially. However, if they are not able to take care of the stress in their lives, they will usually see a plateau of initial weight loss. And when we have stress, we have poor adrenal health. We have generally too much cortisol, or our cortisol pathways are not working properly. So it's essential that we work on a daily basis in just small ways to incorporate stress management in our lives. Cortisol is in direct opposition for losing weight. So we have to really be attentive to this. And it's not just about nutrition and exercise, but we have to incorporate that. And that's those three gears to have optimal living. So our program was designed so that education about nutrition was an integral component. We have health professionals with you along the way to help you and to answer your questions on a daily and weekly basis, really helping you understand how to incorporate these lifestyle changes day to day, giving you the ability and knowledge to sustain these changes long term. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of our program. This is the schedule of kind of from a week to week standpoint. The first week is our assessment. We start with an intake and really the customization of the program with our nurse practitioner and a functional medicine physician. They will work with you to determine what were your past obstacles? What do you foresee as being future obstacles? What has worked well, what hasn't? What are your current food restrictions if you have them? And how can we support you throughout your program? We will also at that time determine whether you need any laboratory testing. So this might be routine laboratories like lipid panels or diabetes checks, but other times it might include some specialty tests, like looking at your gut microbiome or your adrenal health to make sure you don't actually have adrenal fatigue that's going to be in direct opposition to helping you lose weight. So then we'll have in that week a functional fitness assessment with a body composition analysis. This will help us understand where are you in your movement. Are you somebody who's currently sedentary, working at a desk job and doesn't really incorporate a lot of exercise into their day-to-day routine? Or are you somebody who already exercises 3 to 4 times a week? We're going to treat you differently. We're going to also understand where have you had past injuries, where do you have a current injury, and how can we develop an exercise and fitness plan that's going to keep you moving well without risk of injury, and then continue to give you a change in your lifestyle that you can then incorporate long-term. We also incorporated a temperament and character inventory. This was very important for our team because we really need to understand how are you different with your personality that you may not recognize initially, but then after you do your temperament and character inventory, you really have some good visibility of some other areas where you have some strengths and what we need to do to really promote those healthy habits, and then where you might have some challenges. For instance, you might have something called high novelty seeking. Individuals with high novelty seeking, they're going to be bored easily. And so they're going to need a change in their meal plan or even their fitness routine on a week-to-week basis. And so we're going to work with you and really understand that and then help you with that meal planning week to week. And then you might have low novelty seeking where you need the same thing every week. You don't want change. So in that week, we're also going to incorporate any of those lab draws that we were going to determine for you. And then we're going to get you into your intensive portion of your weeks. These next 8 weeks is where you're just doing program. You're going to have weekly weigh-ins and meal planning visits with our nurse practitioner. These check-ins are really important to really keep you accountable. Our nurse practitioner is also going to be doing 2 to 3 times a week, just checking in, making sure that we don't need to get ready for a meal that you're going to have out at a restaurant. Do we need to look at that menu ahead of time and give you some ideas of what you should select so that you're not having to think about that on the spot at a meal? We're going to have you do the trilogy. So our trilogy is a combination of 3 services: our cryotherapy, our infrared sauna, and our salt room. These are not just about losing weight. This is really about how do we detoxify as we're losing weight and we're releasing all those toxins. This is how are we going to do a little bit of stress management with that salt room. And so it's really how do we change that metabolism and all of those facets on this program. We're going to give you access to educational webinars that might be relevant to you, whether you're going through menopause or you're a performance athlete. We're going to offer you those and give you access to those free webinars. We have a program coordinator that's there every step of the way, helping you with scheduling, any last minute changes, and so forth. As we jump into the last 3 weeks of the program, it's all about planning your transition. We're going to have a program review, and we'll start to understand from you what you're planning on doing after those 12 weeks. We'll do another body composition analysis to see where you've come from. We're going to continue the trilogy as well as the fitness classes and exercise. But we're also going to help develop a customized meal plan for you post-program. Some individuals might be going on vacation. Others might want to continue a modified plan. So we're going to work with you to develop what is going to be the next step for you post-program. What we found during the program, it is really essential that we have these weekly check-ins. It helps individuals stay accountable and stay on track. We also recognized that the food was really key, and it helped individuals really enjoy the program. And then they were able to keep that going after the program ended because they could really see how they can incorporate that healthy nutrition on a day-to-day basis, and it wasn't just for the program. So if you're ready to take the next step, you just need to contact our navigators. You can call 314-801-8898 or email membership@palmhealth.com. I wish you all the success on your program and your journey. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the navigators. You can also visit palmhealth.com. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody, for joining the webinar today. I hope you've enjoyed hearing from myself and Dr. Kedia. Thank you.